I hit 50 and looked at my savings account. My heart sank. $47,000. That's it. After decades of working, paying bills, raising a family, 47 grand was supposed to be my security blanket for the next 30, maybe 40 years. Have you ever felt that panic? That cold sweat moment when you realize you're not where you thought you'd be? If you're new here, I'm covering real strategies for building financial security, especially for people who feel like they're starting from behind. And that's exactly where I was 2 years ago. I'm not here to tell you that I discovered some magic formula or that you can turn $5,000 into $1 million overnight. That's not real, and if someone's selling you that, they're selling you a dream. What I am here to tell you is this: I started genuinely catching up at 50. Not slowly, not hoping the market carries me slow. I'm talking about real, measurable progress in a short amount of time. And if you're in a similar situation, whether you're 50, 55, or even 60, the strategies that worked for me can work for you too. This isn't about luck. It's about strategy. Let me take you back 2 years. I was sitting in my home office, staring at spreadsheets, and I had this realization: I'd been living on autopilot. I was earning decent money. I had a stable job, but I wasn't intentional about my money. Every month, bills came out, I spent on things I didn't really need, and whatever was left just sat there. The first thing I did was brutal honesty. I pulled up my last year of bank and credit card statements, all of them, and I categorized every single transaction, and let me tell you, that was humbling. I was spending $400 a month on subscriptions I'd forgotten I had. Streaming services, apps, memberships, things that sounded small individually but added up to almost $5,000 a year. That was my first target. Next was dining out. $250, $300 a week. Sometimes more. I wasn't living lavishly, but I also wasn't being thoughtful about it. So I made a decision: I was going to find every leak in my financial bucket and plug it. I cut the unnecessary subscriptions. I meal planned. I stopped the random coffee shop visits. Nothing dramatic, nothing that made me miserable, just intentional. That alone freed up about $800 a month. But here's the mental shift that mattered most. I stopped thinking of it as cutting back and started thinking of it as redirecting. Those $800 weren't gone from my life. They were moving from Starbucks and Netflix to my future. Once I saw that I could find money in my existing budget, I got motivated. I started researching. I read books. I listened to podcasts. I joined online communities of people who were in the same boat. And that research phase taught me something crucial. I didn't just need to save more. I needed my money to work harder for me. About 6 months in, I had this aha moment. I was listening to a podcast about catch-up contributions and tax-advantaged accounts, and the host mentioned something I'd overlooked. At 50, I qualified for catch-up contributions in my 401k and IRA. Now, most people know what a 401k is, but here's what I didn't fully appreciate. The catch-up rules let people 50 and older contribute an extra $7,000 a year to a 401k and an extra $1,000 to an IRA. That sounds like a small number until you realize that's on top of regular contributions. And because these are pre-tax, they actually reduce your taxable income. So I restructured my paycheck. I increased my 401k contribution aggressively. I maxed out my catch-up contributions. Then I did something more radical. I started a side income stream. Now, I'm not talking about working 80 hours a week. I'm talking about leveraging skills I already had to create income that didn't require constant time investment. For me, that was consulting work on a project basis, maybe 2-3 projects a year, each bringing in anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. That money didn't go to my checking account to be spent. It went directly into a backdoor Roth conversion strategy. I know that sounds complicated, but here's the simple version. I was using higher income years to fund my retirement accounts in a tax-efficient way. In year 1 of doing this, just 1 year, I went from $47,000 in retirement savings to $93,000. In 2 years, I'm at $160,000. That's not magic. That's the combination of cutting expenses, maximizing catch-up contributions, using side income strategically, and letting compound interest start working in my favor. The aha wasn't one thing. It was the realization that I had leverage points I hadn't been using. I wasn't powerless. I was just uninformed. Now, here's the thing. Knowing what to do and actually doing it consistently are two different things. So I built a system to stay on track. Every month, first Sunday of the month, I review 3 numbers: how much I saved, how much my investments grew, and what my total retirement balance is. That takes me about 20 minutes, but it keeps me accountable and it keeps me motivated. Watching that number grow month after month is incredibly powerful. I also set quarterly goals. Not huge, intimidating goals, just, this quarter, I want to save an additional $2,000, or, I want to find one new side income opportunity. The second thing I did was join a community. I found a forum of people in their 50s and 60s doing the same thing, and we check in with each other. We share wins, we troubleshoot obstacles, we keep each other honest. That accountability has been invaluable. And I'm not gonna lie, there have been moments where I've questioned it. The market drops 15%, and I think, what's the point? Or I have a month where my side income doesn't materialize, and I feel behind. But here's what I remind myself, I'm not trying to be wealthy. I'm trying to be secure. And security doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. So I stick to the plan. I automate my savings so the money moves before I can spend it. I stay disciplined about my side income going directly to retirement accounts. And I keep my expenses reasonable. Some months I exceed my goals. Some months I hit them exactly. Some months I'm slightly behind. But the trend line is unmistakably up. That matters more than any single month. So let me bring this home. If you're sitting where I was 2 years ago, scared, behind, wondering if it's even possible to catch up, I want you to know something. It is, but it requires 3 things. First, it requires honesty. You have to know where your money is going right now. You can't fix what you won't measure. Pull your statements. Track your spending. Find the leaks. Second, it requires intentionality. You need to be deliberate about redirecting that money, not just cutting back, but actively moving those dollars toward your future. And that means understanding the tools available to you: catch-up contributions, tax-advantaged accounts, strategic side income. These aren't secrets, they're just things you have to learn about. Third, it requires consistency. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You need to do something sustainable. I cut unnecessary expenses. I maximized retirement contributions. I created side income. I stayed accountable. And in 2 years, I more than tripled my retirement savings. Now, I'm not telling you that you'll hit the same numbers. Your situation is different. Your income is different. Your expenses are different. But the methodology, the approach, that's transferable. You can cut expenses in your budget. You can use catch-up contributions. You can find a side income stream that fits your skills and schedule. You can set up a simple tracking system. You can join a community. And if you do those things consistently, you will catch up. Maybe not to where someone who started at 30 is, but you'll catch up to where you need to be for financial security. That's what this is about. Not competing with someone else's timeline. Getting yourself to the finish line. And here's the beautiful part, it's never too late to start. I want to hear from you. If you're in the middle of your own catch-up journey, drop a comment below and tell me, what's one change you've made that's actually moved the needle for you? And if you found this helpful, please subscribe to the channel. I'm releasing new videos every week focused on financial strategies specifically for people over 50 who want to build real security. Next week, I'm breaking down my top 3 low-risk investments that I'm using to accelerate my own retirement timeline. If that sounds interesting, stick around. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.